If I can have everyone's attention here in the media center, we will wrap up our media availability here today. As we typically do on our final day of testing, we bring in one of our NASCAR folks to talk about how the test is going and what we thought. I know that we're right in the middle of our testing session today due to weather, but we thought we'd go ahead. I know some of you have flights out, so we wanted to go ahead and bring Robin in. We now welcome our Vice President of Competition and Racing Development, Robin Pemberton. Robin, I know we've only had a few hours in the car today, but just talk a little bit about the test session, what you think thus far, and if you want to preview ahead to the testing for the next couple of days for the NASCAR Nationwide Series and the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series as well.
Yeah, I think everybody knows or understands. With a year under our belt with the Gen 6 car, it's pretty straightforward. We had a small spoiler change, and basically this is, pretty comfortable. It's a comfortable zone for the teams to be into. So really, this test is all about the teams and those guys working on their setups and their engine packages and things of that nature. So so far, speeds look to be what we expected. We'll see what happens when they draft a little bit later. But, tomorrow's going to be pretty good for us with the nationwide teams coming in. And, they've got a new coolant package like I told you the other day and a little less spoiler. So they're going to have to work on their cars. And then the Camping World Truck Series will be here on Monday. And they've got a new truck and new coolant system also. So we're looking forward to the next 4 days of testing here at Daytona. But so far, I think everything's in line and looks like it's running pretty smoothly.
Okay, we'll open it up for questions for Robin. Please raise your hand. We'll get a mic to you. We'll start right here in the middle with Jim.
Jim under Charlotte Observer. Robin, do you think by the time you finish around 9 p.m., teams will have had, and you guys will have had adequate time with cars with the spoiler to get a fairly decent indication of what the effect will have?
Yeah, I think so. The main thing will be the drafting runs, and we'll see what happens, how many they can get together if they want to. But it's meant to be drafting practice for the most part, for the latter part of the day. But I think we'll get a good snapshot of it.
Okay, any additional questions? Okay, we'll take one up here from Reed, then go back to Bob in the back.
Reed Spencer with NASCAR Wire Service. Robin, will the spoiler and the cooling package changes on the nationwide cars tend to break them up from the tandems as well?
Yeah, just a little bit. The things that we've learned in the last 2 or 3 years about drafting and draft speeds versus single car speeds, we're heading in a little bit different direction than where we've been in the past. So it's about a little lower drag package makes it a little harder to draft. So the spoiler's coming down a little bit, and the rear springs will be reduced in the nationwide, so it'll travel a little bit more. It'll poke a little smaller hole in the air. So it should separate the cars a little bit. The cooling system should be in that right range, in the right direction. It follows what we've done with the Cup Series.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Bob in the back. Go ahead, Bob.
Bob Hocker, Sporting News. Did you have any lobbying for you to either extend these guys into tomorrow at all, or into come back? And do you have more kind of decision making this week with since you're kind of going through a transition from John to Richard?
I'll answer the first question. Second question I have to repeat. I can't hear out of one ear, so I can't totally hear you. And now I forgot the first question. What was it? Oh, yeah, the lobbying part. Oh, yeah. As you can only imagine, when there's an opportunity to express your opinion, to do something different than what we have organized, lobbying does come into play. And we've heard everywhere from teams that need a half a day to teams that need a day and a half to teams that want to go to Talladega, teams that want to come back here next week. And then there's some that don't even want to be here today. So we've got it all. And, I think we've got enough, not enough track time. I really do. And like I said, when you've got as few changes as we've had, I think the team's got a pretty good handle on it. I think they knew where they were going to need to be.
And the second part would be: Are you yourself making more of those decisions because of the transition from Darby to Richard?
Well, it's what some may not know, or what you may not understand, or people don't understand about our whole group and competition group. Many of the decisions are made in large groups, and then there's less decisions that are even made by larger groups. So there's never any one person out on an island. So every time we do things, you always have to connect the dots and run it through different management groups to make sure we got everything covered. Just like when we change the schedule a little bit, we got to make sure the TV knows. You guys are aware, the teams are aware. Flight departments need to be notified. There's all kinds of things that go into it. So there's a lot of people that weigh in on a lot of things. And so as Richard's here getting his, going through the garage area, he's up in the tower watching practice right now, I believe, and understanding, what goes on. We work together on so many different things, and so it's felt about the same as it always has.
Any additional questions for Robin? Okay, we have one right here in the middle with Dwight.
Dwight Drum, racestake.com. I asked the same question I asked some of the drivers about the whole season. Is there it's a long season for drivers, it's a long season for you. Is there any part of the season that you prefer, you like better, and what gives you the most energy out of the season?
No, I'm not going to answer that. No, I'm just kidding. Really, I've done this for a living for so long. And you always look forward to the downtime, and then when you're down, you kind of get geared up to come back. But I just love being at the racetrack anyways. But equal to that, when I get away and can get some downtime sometime after the banquet season, I enjoy that equally as well. So, I don't have any trouble shifting gears where my fun comes from. I can tell you that much. So.
Next question we'll take from Jenna, then come back up front to Lee.
Jenna Fryer, AP. Excuse me, Robin. Is it going to be single car qualifying for the Daytona 500 as usual?
Pardon me, the qualifying?
Single car qualifying for the 500?
Yes, the Daytona 500 qualifying will be the same as it has been.
Now, do you know what the qualifying will be going forward after Daytona yet?
There's some details we're working on, trying to finalize all of those things. I can tell you that the Camping World Truck Series and the Nationwide Series will not be single-car qualifying at all this year. And we're still working on some of the final details of that.
Even for Daytona?
Even for Daytona.
What will they be for Daytona?
We'll let you know during the rest of the month of January, as Mike alluded to earlier or yesterday, that we've got a lot of things on our plate. More than normal, and as we work through the details, we'll get them out to you as soon as we can.
I eagerly await that.
All right, we'll come up front to Lee.
Lee Spencer, Fox Sports. Can you talk a little bit about the safety meeting this morning, if you were in there, and what were the highlights, and what's the big message you want to get across to competitors this year?
Safety meeting went well. As always, there's ongoing studies about driver containment and seat development and things of that nature. There's different things being tested with seat belts and stuff. So, we brought up they presented some of the studies that our guys have done during the summer. Some work that's out there on some seat attachment, a different way to attach seats and things. I think there was one video on a car-to-car crash at Nebraska that we have done to show intrusion and things like that. So our staff evaluated a few of the wrecks last year. Denny's and his compression of his back, and they reviewed some of those, some of that data to the teams to try to help them with their seats and how the seats are padded up and things like that. So.
Apparently he had very little foam in his seat.
Pardon me?
Apparently he had very little foam in his seat.
No, it's not that. It's just sometimes there's foam that's real porous, and I don't even know if you can call it a foam, but it's used to allow air to pass, help cool you. So if you can get that in the wrong place, then when you compress or something like that, there's not enough support for whatever type of contact that is. So, I think that Tom Gideon or John Padillac they'd be happy to answer some of those questions and be a little bit more professional about it than I am. But I've watched that study through the entire summer, and we've been circling up with the teams and explaining that. So it's if you get an opportunity, those guys are here for the rest of the weekend. Also, we'll do a safety update in the morning with Nationwide, and then another one Monday with the Camping World Truck Series.
All right. Any other questions okay, Ken?
Robin, Rusty's gotten a bit of attention here the last day or two. I wonder if you could recall some of his Daytona 500 desires and disappointments, and any other stories that might stand out to you when you see him here.
We were talking about that. I was talking about it without Rusty in our office a few minutes ago. But we've had if you come here long enough, this place will disappoint you about as much as any place you'll ever go to. I think I went 15 years and never finished a Daytona 500 as a crew member or a crew chief at some point in time. But I think the one that got away for Rusty and myself, leading the race, and Ricky Rudd come off the end of pit road and pull right up in the traffic and going into turn one, and Rusty avoided and went real high, getting into one, and Jeff Gordon passes him and wound up winning the race. That one kind of stings. And then there's some other ones. We in '98, we did all the development work for the year before that on the Taurus to bring the 4-doors into racing, and so we were able to win the Bud Shootout with the Taurus, which was the first race for that Taurus. So that was fun. And in those years, the promotional stuff that was around it was some characters and stuff that Miller had brought up and different things like that. So it was fun. You can have some fun here, but it's far and few between if you're a competitor, I can tell you that.
Okay, we'll take our next question up here for Dustin.
Dustin Long, MRN.com. Robin, why not changing the Daytona 500 qualifying format as you're going to be making qualifying format changes the rest of the season? Why this?
Well, I think what comes into play is the fact that Daytona's format has always been a one-off and a great format. I mean, we've got the duels on Thursday. That's always been a pressure-packed race for the teams, especially now with the lack of lock-ins. You got to race in, and so this place stands on its own right now. They have qualifying races, which nobody else has. So it's, they've been a one-up on everybody's for the most part.
Qualifying format, can you say that it won't need qualifying races?
Here?
In the series of this other beyond Daytona.
I can't hear you.
And can you say that it will not be qualifying races as the new qualifying format?
I can tell you that we're finalizing everything and we're working on it, and we will have plenty of news the rest of the month of January.
Any final questions
Long month.
for
it's
Robin?
One of our longest. Very
Bob,
long.
one final question in the back.
It's really long.
Do you have any other tests or going in day early beyond Vegas for the Cup teams?
No, Vegas is the only one we've got on the books right now. I think we'll be pretty good.
Robin, thank you very much for your time today.
I'll tell you how long the month is. It's